thunder of jets in an open sky, a streak of gray, and a cheerful...
A loop, a whirl, and a vertical climb, and once again you'll know it's time for the adventures of Rocky and Bullwinkle and friends.
Starring that supersonic speedster, Rocket J. Squirrel, with his pal Bullwinkle the Moose, and a host of others.
Hurry, Bullwinkle! The show's about to start!
I'm coming as fast as I can.
Wave to the people!
Yay!
Now what are you doing?
Signing autographs. Let's see. John Smith.
But your name is Bullwinkle!
I know, but that's hard to spell.
We're gonna have a lot of fun! Come on and join us!
Sure, there's always room for one more.
Well, our heroes are now in Pottsylvania, a country where everybody's a spy and everything's a secret. And what's more, last time when our boys opened the door to their room, they found it in a dreadful condition. Bullwinkle instantly made a brilliant deduction.
Somebody's been in here. I know, 'cause when we went out, this blotter was facing the other way.
At that moment in the underground headquarters of the International Spy Ring, Boris Badenov was speaking to his superior officer.
Well, there they are, fearless leader. All of Moose and Squirrel's money and papers.
And what do you think they'll do now, Badenov?
They'll start for home.
And how do we get secret rocket fuel formula from Moose if he goes home?
You mean...
Yes, in the words of our decadent American enemies, you goofed. I'll have to report this to Mr. Big.
Mr. Big? Oh, no, not that. I beg of you, fearless leader. Take back my medals, my bad conduct ribbon, my iron double cross, even my membership card in Arsenics Anonymous. But don't report me to Mr. Big.
Well, I guess I'm just soft, sentimental fool, Badenov. But you get one small chance.
Anything, fearless leader.
See that Moose and Squirrel find mooseberries.
Check.
Make rocket fuel.
Check.
Give it to us.
Check.
And see they don't get back alive.
Ha ha ha! Double check.
But Boris had reckoned without the strong purpose of our boys, who just weren't about to quit.
No, 'cause we're steadfast.
And ever faithful.
And true blue.
And besides, we didn't think of it.
What we need is a guide, Bullwinkle. Somebody who knows all about mountain climbing.
Mountain climbing? Why for that, Rock?
Look here, Bullwinkle. Mooseberries grow only on the highest peak in the Himalaya Mountains. Why don't you take a peek? 32,000 feet high. Pretty high, huh?
If it was any higher, I'd have to stand on a chair just to think about it.
Let's look in the phone book under guide.
But our heroes had a surprise coming to them, for it seems that every spy in Pottsylvania had an unlisted number. And since there was nobody but spies, all the pages were completely blank.
Boy, I'm sure getting tired of playing I Got a Secret.
Maybe there's an ad in the paper, Bullwinkle.
Nobody ever said a truer word, for so secretive was the Pottsylvania press that there was no news at all. Just advertisements. And what ads?
No caper complete without D's and Do's sleeping potions.
Assassinations cheap, satisfaction guaranteed, or your body back.
Latest in Pottsylvanian evening wear, casual wear, and beach wear.
Looks like masks are coming back this year.
But there's no ads for guides, not even for sightseeing trips.
Nope, in Pottsylvania, nobody shows nobody nothing.
I wonder where we're ever going to get a mountain climbing guide.
Yodeldly-doddly, hodly-ho! Allow me to introduce myself, Sir Hilary Push-em-off at your service. Come down, princess.
Who's that?
That is famous Indian guide, Princess Bubbling Spring that runs in the meadow.
Call me Bubbles.
You're sure you're good guides?
Double cross my heart and hope you die.
Dandy!
So our heroes have hired their worst enemies as guides. Be sure to see our next episode, Danger Ahead, or watch out for falling Rockies.
Once upon a time, there was an easel painter. He was a good painter and made a modest living for his wife and himself. All was well except for one thing. The painter didn't want to be a painter. He wanted to be a shoemaker.
I am drudging my way through life. I want to do something creative.
Such as?
Who are you?
We're elves, obviously. We always considered painting creative.
You call that creative, elves? I'll tell you creative. Making shoes, that's creative. Something for the feet. Something that lives. Something to last throughout eternity. Shoes that sing.
You mean you want to go down in history like Herman Cappuccino?
Herman Cappuccino?
Herman Cappuccino, just the greatest little shoemaker that ever lived.
When Hannibal crossed the Alps, whose shoes do you think he was wearing?
Herman's?
Herman Cappuccino.
Ooh. Tell me, elf, how could I be a famous shoemaker like Herman Cappuccino?
You gotta suffer. You gotta spend time on the left bank in Paris.
Study. Visit the shoe stores.
And all true shoemakers gotta suffer.
And so, that night, the painter told his wife of his plan to become a shoemaker. His wife said,
Shoemakers are not made, they are born. Why don't you forget it and go back to something sensible like painting?
9. Even 10. Anybody can paint. I want to sit in cafes, discuss shoe exhibitions, make shoes in a garret, and above all, suffer.
So the painter left for Paris, leaving his wife to shift for herself. He entered the famous school, the Beaux Chasseurs, and spent months working for models. Then he made 15th century shoes, 16th century shoes, 17th century shoes, 18th century shoes. He made rabbit shoes, snake shoes, and kangaroo shoes. He even made high button shoes, low button shoes, even horseshoes. He made walking shoes, running shoes, sneaky shoes, squeaky shoes, but alas, he made no singing shoes.
If only I could make a shoe that sings of spring, of love. How could I make a shoe with a soul?
You gotta travel. Absorb different countries' culture.
Yeah, suffer.
Not suffer, travel. Get with it, will you?
Yeah, that's it, travel.
So the painter went to Italy, Switzerland, Holland, and he made Italian shoes, Swiss shoes, Dutch shoes. But alas, he made no singing shoes. Then, one night, after he returned to Paris, he heard the most beautiful music. He followed the lovely sound, and there, in a bundle of rags, was a singing shoe.
That is truly a shoe with a soul.
What? I hope to tell you it's got a soul.
I must have that shoe.
Now, wait.
A fine way to act.
I just wanted to know where he bought them.
We could have told you that. He bought them in Elvesville.
Elvesville? Why, that's my hometown. What am I doing suffering around Europe when I could be home learning to make shoes that sing?
So the painter left for the town from whence he had come, Elvesville. He found that everyone in Elvesville was wearing the same exquisite shoes that he had found in the bundle of rags.
Where did you buy those exquisite shoes?
2311 South Budlong. You turn left at the
You
next...
don't have to tell me. That's my house.
And sure enough, when the painter got home, he found the walls of his cottage lined with exquisite shoes, all singing merrily away. And who did he find sitting behind the cobbler's bench but his wife?
Why didn't you tell me you made exquisite singing shoes?
You never asked me.
So, from that day on, the painter went back to his easel. Eventually, it happened that his paintings started selling like hotcakes, and he became a very famous painter indeed, and his paintings hung in all the famous museums in Europe. But he never did become a shoemaker, and he had to be content with just being a very wealthy man.
Which just goes to prove everybody can't be a Herman Cappuccino.
Yeah. Whatever that means.
Look, Bullwinkle, a message in a bottle.
Fan mail from some flounder?
No, this is what I really call a message. And now for the uninformed, here's the biggest informer of them all, Mr. Know-It-All.
Greetings, brain builder-uppers. Today's subject is swimming can be fun and wet. Now, in order to swim, one must have a pool, and in order to have a pool, one must have a hole. This one here. After lining the hole with cement, fill it with H2O's, which is soft water. We are now ready for our fun. There are many ways of entering the pool, but the best way is via the diving board. Of course, it does help if you put the board over the pool. Once in the water, there are many things you can do, like swimming. Now, for all you neophytes, those are swimmers made out of rubber, it is a good idea to start with the dog paddle. Yeah. Chewed the paddle up a little, didn't you? The second most widely used stroke is the butterfly. Before entering the water, wave the arms like a butterfly and...
What do you know? An antlered fire-winged goofus.
Put me down!
A talking antlered fire-winged goofus.
Oh, well. Even if you can't swim, just get yourself an old inner tube, put it around your middle, and jump in.
Thank you, Mr. Know-It-All. Mr. Know-It-All? And now...
Hey, Rocky, watch me pull a rabbit out of my hat.
But that trick never works.
This time for sure. Presto! Well, I'm getting close.
And now it's time for another special feature.
Canadian woods, full of trees. Trees, a major source of income for both Canada and Joyce Kilmer. Also, dogs' best friend. The tallest trees in Canada were to be found on Mount Up, a fir-clad pinnacle that stretched itself skyward 63 feet below sea level. Just down from Mount Up was a vast sprawling lumber camp consisting of 400 lumberjacks and a jackknife. You are now looking at Red Wood, Canada's wealthiest woodman who spares no tree in supplying the demands of a wood-hungry world.
Sicily is running low on toothpicks. We gotta get out 5 million by sundown. To the forest, man!
That call sent every man to the tree of his choice. Up they went, but before they could begin cutting, a very strange thing happened.
Do you smell anything, boss?
Just a little wood smoke. The cook must be burning something.
The cook was burning all right, so was the cookhouse and all of Mount Up.
There's a firebug loose.
Not a fire bug, a fire bear. It was Stokey, who for years had been helping to prevent forest fires. He wasn't the same Stokey now, mainly because he was under the hypnotic influence of that foul ball of the great Northwest, Snidely Whiplash. Why are you doing this, Mr. Whiplash?
How else can you barbecue hot dogs? Look into my eyes, Bear. Now, go light a fire somewhere.
Now, when Canada has a problem, the mounted police have a problem. And their problem is Dudley Do-Right.
the inspiration for the famous folk song, Why Don't You Do Right?
Onward, faithful steed. We must reach Mount Up before sundown.
2 weeks later, Dudley and Red Wood discussed the problem out in the open, as there was no place else to discuss it.
What seems to be the trouble here?
It's Stokey the bear. He's gone ape.
Oh, that rat. Give me a description of him.
Well, weighs about 700 pounds, fur coat, cinnamon color, wears a Mountie hat.
That's not very much to go on. Anything else?
He's a bear. Armed with that information, Dudley took up Stokey's trail, which was still hot. Day after day, the relentless pursuit wore on. Although there was no sign of his quarry, Dudley was getting warmer all the time until finally the trail took him into Quebec.
Stokey the bear? No, I haven't seen him.
Well, I have reason to believe he is in your midst.
I'll check on it. Firemen, fall in!
Down the firehouse pole they slid. Unfortunately, whoever designed this firehouse did a poor job, as there was a hole on the ground floor. Assembly was held in the basement.
All right, Constable, look him over.
Dudley went down the line, carefully scrutinizing each and every man. It was then, when he came to the fifth man in line, he stopped still in his tracks.
This man didn't shave this morning.
And on he went, continuing his search.
Looks like you were wrong, Constable.
Dudley was about to agree when suddenly a three-alarm fire broke out somewhere in the city. Like the noble force they are, the firemen responded instantly. Off they roared at 90 miles an hour, only to realize that the three-alarm fire had broken out not in the city, but in their firehouse. The chief and his men fought desperately to control the raging fire. Each man did his job and did it well. All but one, who was nonchalantly toasting marshmallows.
Chief, that man is shirking his duty.
You mean Stokey, the new man?
Stokey?
The chase was on. But before our hero could grasp the elusive bear, he shot up the fire pole and disappeared. By now, the fire was hopelessly out of control, and the fighters joined the spectators. Then a gasp came from the crowd as a lone bear was seen standing on the roof, flames licking his feet.
It is he, and I must save him.
Unmindful of the danger, Dudley rushed into the burning building and fought his way to the roof. The chief also sprang into action and ordered his men to bring out the safety net. Unfortunately, the crew grabbed a hula hoop by mistake, and the bear landed on Dudley. Dudley landed on his head. 2 weeks later, at Redwood's logging camp.
Tell me, Inspector, whatever happened to Constable Do-Right and Stokey the bear?
Well, I was all for putting Stokey in the poker. But Do-Right felt a change of scenery and some home cooking would do him more good, so he took him to stay with some friends of his in Chicago.
Now remember, Mrs. O'Leary, we'll blame it all on the cow.
Well, our heroes are really closing in on the mooseberry bush, for they've hired a famous mountain climber, Sir Hilary Push-Him-Off, and his friend, the Indian guide, Princess Bubbles, to guide them up the Grimalaya Mountains. Little do they know, however, that the guides are really those two spies, Boris and Natasha.
Please, you're giving away the plot.
Well, Sir Hilary, here's where we're going, high on the slopes of Why Don't You Take a Peek?
Want you take a peek?
I take it you know the name.
Know it. It is the most feared mountain in old Pennsylvania.
Yeah, but you're not scared, are you, Sir Hilary?
Of course not. Him always turn green this time of year.
If I could just have a breath fresh air.
Why, certainly.
And Boris left the room and quickly made his way to the underground headquarters of Central Control.
Something wrong, Bedinov?
You see where I'm supposed to go?
Why don't you take a peek? Lovely vacation spot.
Vacation spot?
If you're an iceberg.
But fearless leader.
Silence, Bedinov. Is only a little 20,000-foot mountain peak. You're not chicken, are you? Come. Remember Pennsylvania.
Well...
Remember who pays you salary.
Well...
Remember your sense of honor.
Let's go back to who pays the salary.
Besides, if you don't go, I got to report you to Mr. Big.
Mr. Big? You wouldn't? Yes, you would. All right, I'm going. Orly-hoo.
And a few hours later, Boris and Natasha were leading our friends up the slippery slopes of Why Don't You Take a Peek?
Orly-hoo.
Well, which way do we go now?
That way.
Well, we can't go in both directions.
Yeah, we're all roped together.
Great Spirit say go that way.
You going to argue with me? This way.
You going to argue with Great Spirit? That way.
Maybe we could split the difference and go straight ahead.
I say this way.
I say that way.
Well, if you insist, that way.
Golly, they're sliding clear down the slope.
And we're all roped together.
Brace yourself, Bullwinkle.
Right, Rocky! I'd just like to see them budge me now. They'd have to uproot this great big tree!
And in just a few seconds, the entire party had slid to the bottom of a deep crevasse in the snow.
Where's Sir Hillary?
I don't know. Here's his hat.
Yeah, but where's he?
I'm under the hat, you idiot.
Well, peek-a-boo.
Hey, look there.
Oh, boy, snow!
No, Bullwinkle, up higher.
Well, I'll be a moose's uncle.
Yep, it's a mooseberry bush. Our search is at an end.
Oh, boy, and we made it in only one episode.
So after carefully uprooting the precious mooseberry bush, the party started off with the two spies well in the lead.
Now Pennsylvania can make secret rocket fuel.
If Moose and Squirrel do not take it to USA.
How can moose and squirrel take to USA if there is no moose and squirrel?
Oh, Boris, you are a sly boots. When does it happen?
No time like the present. Observe, Natasha. Secret weapon.
Weapon? That's only a piece of candy.
Watch. Hello down there! Anybody care for jawbreaker? Mighty yummy.
Sure, why not?
Okay, here it comes.
And Boris started the jawbreaker rolling down the snow-covered slope. And in just a little while, it picked up a covering of loose snow, then formed a snowball that grew until it was a tremendous ball the size of a house that hurtled down on our heroes. Don't fail to see our next episode, Avalanche is Better Than None, or Snow's Your Old Man.
As if our time is just about run out.
Just enough left to tell him who the sponsor was.
You got the credits, Bullwinkle?
All on this itty-bitty card. Oop.
Bullwinkle.
Right.
Bye now. See you next time.